Ethan Miller was 11 years old when he first stepped into flat 313. The building stood at the edge of the London estate, like it had been forgot by time itself. Grey concrete walls, narrow corridors, and a silence that felt heavier than noise. When the front door closed behind him, Ethan felt something shift, as if the flat had taken a slow breath. His parents were busy unpacking. Boxes scraped across the floor. His mother, Sarah, moved quickly from room to room, pretending everything was normal. His father, Daniel, joked about the place being small but affordable. Ethan stayed quiet. He was staring at the number on the door. 3. 1. 3. The paint around it was scratched deep, like someone had tried to erase it with their nails. That evening, fog wrapped around the building. Streetlights outside flickered, stretching long yellow shadows into the windows. Ethan sat alone in his room, surrounded by boxes that smelled of cardboard and dust. He turned on his tablet and played a colourful cartoon, the kind he had watched since he was little. Bright colours filled the room, cheerful voices, loud music. It helped him forget the silence. At exactly 9:13 p.m., the cartoon froze. The music slowed down, twisting into a low, warped sound before stopping completely. Ethan tapped the screen. Nothing happened. The clock on his wall ticked once. Then it stopped. The light above him flickered. The room felt colder. Ethan laughed nervously and called out for his mum, but his voice sounded small, like it had been swallowed by the flat. The shadows on the wall began to stretch, bending in ways that didn't match the furniture. One shadow near the wardrobe grew taller, thinner, its edges curved like a badly drawn cartoon. 2 white circles appeared inside the shadow. Eyes. A soft voice filled the room. "You're late, Ethan." His heart pounded. "Who are you?" he whispered. The shadow leaned closer, sliding across the wall without moving its feet. "I've been here longer than you," the voice replied gently. "Flat 31N remembers everyone." Ethan ran. The hallway felt longer than before, the walls slightly bent, as if the flat had become elastic. His footsteps echoed wrong, like someone else was running just behind him. He reached the living room and stopped. The television turned on by itself. A cartoon played on the screen. The colors were too bright, almost painful. The characters laughed, then suddenly froze. One by one, they turned their heads toward Ethan. Their smiles stretched wider, cracking at the edges. One character stepped forward, its body flattening against the screen. Its face melted into a smooth shape with hollow eyes. "We were waiting," it said. "You live here now," Ethan screamed. Sarah rushed in and grabbed his shoulders. "Ethan, what's wrong?" The television was black. The hallway was normal. No shadows. No voices. Ethan tried to explain, his words tripping over each other. Sarah hugged him tightly and whispered that new houses sometimes played tricks on the mind. She told him to sleep. That night, Ethan dreamed of bright rooms with painted walls and endless doors. Every door had the same number carved into it, 313. A tall cartoon man with a frozen smile bent down in front of him. His eyes were empty, his voice soft. "My name is Mr. Hollow," he said. "And this flat needs you." Ethan woke up at exactly 9:13 p.m. His room was dark. His heart was racing. On the wall, deep black scratches formed words that had not been there before. Ethan did not scream this time. He sat up slowly in his bed, staring at the words carved into the wall. They looked fresh, as if something sharp had just finished writing them. His fingers trembled as he reached out and touched the scratches. The wall felt warm. From the living room, a low humming sound drifted in. It was soft, almost friendly, like background music from an old cartoon. Ethan swallowed and stepped out of his room. The hallway lights were on, but dimmer than before. The walls seemed closer together. With every step, the humming grew clearer, forming a tune that repeated again and again, slightly out of rhythm. The television was on. A cartoon played that Ethan had never seen before. The characters looked familiar, like broken versions of cartoons he grew up watching. Their movements were jerky. Their eyes blinked out of sync. The background was not a place, but a room. A room that looked exactly like flat 313. Ethan backed away. "This isn't real," he whispered. The cartoon froze. One character slowly turned its head, then another, then all of them stared directly at Ethan. "It's real now," they said together. The screen rippled, and a hand pushed out from the glass. It was flat and animated, like it had been drawn with thick black lines. Then a second hand followed. The figure pulled itself halfway out of the television. Mr. Hollow smiled. "You woke up early," he said. "Most children cry first." Ethan's legs refused to move. "What do you want from me?" Mr. Hollow tilted his head. "Nothing new. Just what you already give." He tapped the side of his head. Attention, imagination, fear. The lights flickered. The flat groaned softly, like old wood bending. Ethan ran to his parents' room and threw the door open. Sarah and Daniel slept peacefully, unaware. He shook them, shouted, begged them to wake up. They didn't move. The room behind him darkened. Mr. Hollow's reflection appeared in the mirror, standing far too close. "They can't hear you," he said. "Not when the flat is awake." Ethan turned around. The mirror was empty, but the bedroom door was gone. In its place was a painted door, bright colors, thick outlines, and the number 313 glowing softly in the center. Ethan's chest tightened. "I want to go home." Mr. Hollow knelt beside him. "You are home," he whispered. "This place feeds on stories, on children who see more than adults." He smiled wider. "And you see everything." The painted door slowly opened by itself. Inside was a hallway made of color and shadow, cartoon walls, cartoon floors. But the air felt heavy and wrong. Ethan shook his head. "I won't go." Mr. Hollow's smile vanished for the first time. His face cracked, lines tearing through the paint. "Everyone goes eventually." The flat suddenly snapped back to normal. Ethan was on the living room floor. Morning light spilled through the windows. The television was off. His parents were calling his name, panic in their voices. Doctors later said it was stress, night terrors, adjustment issues. No one believed Ethan when he said the flat was alive. That night, as he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, his tablet turned on by itself. The same cartoon appeared. This time, Ethan was standing in it. Ethan blinked. The cartoon world stretched around him, walls bending and twisting like elastic. Colors pulsed softly, the familiar flat 313 details all around but warped. He could hear the soft hum of laughter, but it was wrong, too slow, too high. Mr. Hollow appeared beside him, taller, sharper, his smile wider than any human could manage. "Welcome back," he whispered, voice echoing from nowhere. Ethan tried to run, but his legs felt heavy, glued to the colorful floor. He turned a corner and found a corridor lined with doors, each painted a different bright color. all numbered 13. Shadows moved behind them, stretching, shifting like living cartoons. He touched one door, hoping it would feel solid, but his hand passed through. Panic rose. "You can leave any time," Mr. Hollow said behind him, voice cheerful, mocking. "But you won't." Ethan backed away, heart hammering. The walls started closing in slowly, like pages of a book folding over him. The laughter grew louder, punctuated by soft, drawn-out whispers calling his name. He heard familiar voices, friends from school, neighbors, but they were wrong, distorted, almost singing. Ethan screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the air. Mr. Hollow's shadow stretched across the walls, reaching toward him with fingers that flattened and curled. "Play with us," he said, tone gentle yet threatening. Ethan tried to shout for his parents, but their voices were replaced with cartoon echoes. Every step he took made the floor ripple beneath him. He realized he was trapped in a story that wrote itself around him. "It's all for me?" Ethan asked, voice shaking. "For you," Mr. Hollow corrected. "For flat 313. You feed it with fear, imagination, attention. The longer you resist, the more it wants." Doors in the hallway started opening, one by one, revealing endless corridors of shifting color and shadows that mimicked his every move. Ethan stumbled into one, the walls bending tighter. In the distance, a figure waved, smiling. It was him, but drawn in cartoon lines, pale and still. He wanted to run, but Mr. Hollow's voice came from all directions. "You cannot leave what already sees you." The ceiling rippled like water. Shadows twisted into shapes of animals, humans, creatures Ethan had never imagined, all drawn in exaggerated cartoon outlines, staring silently. Ethan felt something brush his shoulder. He spun. Nothing. He spun again. A doorway appeared, glowing, numbered 313. He ran, heart pounding. Inside, a room perfectly mirrored his own, but colors saturated and twisted. A table floated mid-air, plates stacked in impossible angles, cups spinning slowly. Mr. Hollow appeared behind the mirror version of his parents, smiling, waving. "Time for your first story," he said. Ethan tried to scream, but the cartoon world closed its mouth around him. The walls pulsed like a heartbeat, colors shifting in sync. The laughter was deafening now, layered over whispers, all calling his name. "You wanted to see everything," Mr. Hollow said. "Now you will." Ethan felt himself lifted from the floor, pulled toward the mirror parents. His reflection smiled back with an unnatural grin. He reached out, hoping to wake up. Nothing. The world stretched, colors bleeding, shadows crawling up the walls, forming shapes, letters, words that read themselves aloud. "Play, Ethan. Stay, Ethan." The heartbeat of the flat echoed in his chest. Then, silence. Ethan gasped awake in his own room. Sunlight poured in. The flat seemed normal. His parents were nearby, calling him. He looked around, trying to convince himself it had all been a dream. But on the wall, faint scratches shimmered. The scratches on the wall were gone. He looked around, cautious, alert. For the first time, there was nothing waiting, nothing alive in the corners. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight lift from the room. The flat had released him, for now. But deep in his mind, he knew one thing. Flat 313 was still alive, still waiting, still watching. And Mr. Hollow's voice lingered in the shadows of his memory. Ethan whispered to himself, "I survived. But the story isn't finished." And with that thought, he knew some doors could never truly close.